Welcome to Equal Ground Headlines. I am Samuel B. Williams, bringing you your balanced coverage on trending top stories in Canada. A devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake has left Burma, Myanmar, reeling, with a confirmed death toll climbing past 2,000, expected to rise significantly higher. The powerful quake struck central Burma on Friday night, its epicenter near the cultural city of Mandalay. Entire villages have been reduced to rubble. Rescue crews and local volunteers are in a race against time to find survivors trapped under collapsed homes, monasteries, and apartment buildings. 3 days on, heavy debris and damaged infrastructure are major obstacles. Key bridges and roads in the region have been shattered, making some hard-hit towns reachable only by helicopter. The World Health Organization warns that hospitals in the area are overwhelmed, dealing with waves of injured residents even as their own facilities suffer damage. Heartbreaking scenes are unfolding across central Burma and neighboring parts of Thailand, where at least 19 people were also killed by the quake's impact. In Mandalay, Burma's second-largest city, historic pagodas crumbled and multi-story buildings pancaked, trapping people inside. A resident named Sumonote described the destruction in vivid terms. "We have never seen anything like this," she said. "Whole neighborhoods are just gone. People are desperate, digging with their hands." In one instance, volunteers in a village outside Mandalay worked through the night to pull out a family of 5 from beneath what had been their 2-story home. Tragically, only 2 were found alive. Scenes of grief and shock are everywhere. Makeshift triage centers in schoolyards treating the wounded, rows of bodies wrapped in cloth awaiting identification. For many Burmese, the tragedy is compounded by timing. The quake struck during a holiday week when families were gathered, which likely added to the casualties. The international response is mobilizing, but not without hurdles, some of them unexpected. Countries like China, India, and Thailand moved swiftly, sending emergency relief teams and supplies over the weekend. China dispatched urban search and rescue specialists, and India flew in plane loads of medical kits and tents. However, the United States assistance has been notably slow to arrive. The New York Times reports that the dismantling of USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, under President Trump, has hampered the U.S. response to the Burma quake. While Beijing and others had large crews on the ground within 48 hours, the U.S. could initially muster only a 3-person disaster assessment team, which is not expected to land in Burma until Wednesday. In striking detail, some staff at USAID's Bureau for Humanitarian Assistance actually received layoff notices via email while they were preparing to respond to the earthquake on Friday. Those cuts are part of Trump's broader budget reductions, but their impact is being felt in real time in Burma's disaster zone. Every hour matters in saving lives. "And we're barely there," said a former USAID official, calling the situation a self-inflicted handicap on U.S. aid efforts. Meanwhile, Burma's internal challenges complicate the relief work. The Southeast Asian nation is one of the region's poorest and has been under a military junta since a coup in 2021. Relations between the junta and Western nations are strained due to sanctions and human rights concerns. Over the weekend, rebel ethnic groups in Burma even accused the military of carrying out airstrikes in areas of ongoing conflict after the earthquake struck, implying the regime continued offensive operations despite the humanitarian crisis. Such reports are hard to verify, but they underscore the chaotic environment. The junta has officially appealed for international aid and says it's coordinating rescue operations. However, critics fear that aid might not reach certain affected communities, especially those in areas where insurgents hold sway. In the coming days, the priorities are clear. Find survivors, provide food, water, and shelter to the tens of thousands left homeless, and prevent disease outbreaks in the quake's aftermath. Humanitarian groups are scrambling to deliver supplies. The UN has released emergency funds, and ASEAN countries are pooling resources. Groups of Buddhist monks have joined volunteers to distribute rice and bottled water at monastery courtyards turned relief camps. Yet, the need is immense. Body recovery is still ongoing in many sites, which means the death toll, already over 2,000, could rise dramatically. Each recovered life is a moment of joy. In one case, a grandmother was pulled alive from rubble after 50 hours, drawing cheers from neighbors. But such miracles are overshadowed by the scale of loss. Mandalay is mourning, said a local teacher helping at a shelter. We are praying and we are helping, but we also feel very alone in this. As more aid slowly trickles in, especially from the US later this week, the hope is that the world will not forget Burma's tragedy. In a disaster that respects no politics, the Burmese people are in dire need of global solidarity and support to recover and rebuild from one of the deadliest earthquakes in their history.